Well, good morning and welcome to the On The Go Post Show. It is Monday, February 22nd. Can you guys believe it? It's the last Monday in February. We are tracking along for 2021. I'm Danielle Wiggins with Holly Strano, Dave Chudowski, Austin Love, and Maureen Kyle. We have a lot to get to. Remember, you can always put your comments in the comment section. Let us know your perspectives on the stories that we are covering. But first, we want to get to Holly for a quick check of the weather because, you've been saying all morning, it's been a messy mix or so.
Right. And it's just scattered. So when our show began, and if you were with us really early today at 4:30, there was a lot going on. Maybe you were driving in it at that time, but it's just going to be really scattered through the rest of this morning. And we're upper 30s for highs today. So we're not going to really move much from where we are, but we're very windy. And that'll be through the day and into the evening hours. But commutes home look uneventful other than the breeze. It'll be overcast. And then looking ahead to your Tuesday, just a sneak peek, we are forecasting more rain and snow chances.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Holly. I know Holly has to head over to WTAM virtually or by phone to give the radio announcement. And one of the things that has been, or one of the stories that has been topping our WKYC.com is that ice rescue from yesterday, so you can check that out. But please know that there is a warning. Holly talked about the winds, that winds could be blowing the snow, not the snow, but the ice, the drifting ice on Lake Erie farther out. And so make sure that you don't go out on the lake because anyone who steps on that ice could put themselves as well as first responders in danger. So that's a warning there. Again, it's on WKYC.com. And then we switch to another warning that, Mo, you have this morning of a number of people finding themselves the victims or potentially the victims of unemployment fraud.
Right. So this is really, we've seen an uptick in this in the past few weeks when it comes to complaints into WKYC, your emails, personal friends of mine. So here's what's happening. A lot of people, there's two separate things happening. A lot of people got 1099s in the mail, tax forms saying, hey, you collected unemployment last year. Here's the tax that you have to pay on it. And a lot of people are thinking, I never filed for unemployment. What happened? So those people are victims. They've already had unemployment filed under their name. Another thing that we're seeing happening is that people are getting calls from their human resource department or their company saying, hey, did you try filing for unemployment? Because I just got a notice here. And these are people who have never filed for unemployment before. And this is clearly somebody using their social security number, their place of employment, even the correct HR manager is on the paperwork. So at that point, it's able to be stopped, but that still doesn't change the fact that social security numbers are out there with a lot of the same correct information. So over the past couple of weeks, a lot of people have been getting like the red flag of, hey, are you trying to collect unemployment because you're employed? So here's the common thread that I'm seeing and that I'm hearing from people is that the name might be off slightly. Like a friend of mine, her husband, this happened to her husband, and it was their two first names, not their last name. Marianne, who I interviewed this morning, she said that they were using a variation of her name that she used right when she got married that kind of included her maiden name that she hasn't used for years. Something else that people are seeing is that they're getting maybe a letter in the mail saying, hey, here's your PIN number for your unemployment, which means that the criminal has gone one step further than just the filing on the human resource level.
Yeah, so you need that PIN number to get in
and we all know, the big complaint when people started filing for unemployment, there was some issue with getting the PIN number and there had to be people on hand in ODJFS giving people the correct, working out that PIN number for some reason. So this is happening. I'm telling all of you this as a warning because human resource managers, from what I was hearing, they are the ones who are going to have to be checking consistently. And this is like something that if they only checked once a week before, they're going to have to checking like every day, every other day to see what kind of claims are coming in. One HR manager on my Facebook page says this is popping up a few times a week. She says 60% of the claims are legitimate, but she would say overall about 40% of the claims that she's getting into her office are fraud. And that is pretty consistent with what the State Department is telling me. I tried getting the Attorney General and the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services to tell me, like, is there a reason we're seeing an uptick over the last few weeks of, these HR managers catching it, or people saying, like, catching that somebody's trying to file? They weren't specific. They're saying that if there was a breach, the federal government is investigating where that breach came from. They're still gathering information. So they couldn't tell me why, for some reason, and it seems to be a Northeast Ohio problem that I'm seeing lately, that, I don't know if people are just running through Northeast Ohio social security numbers, if this is happening nationwide. All I know is that every day I'm hearing from a friend, from a viewer, that this is happening to them. And when I posted it last night, I had a cousin text me like, yep, happened to me, and a couple of friends text, yep, that happened to me. So this is something that just everybody needs to be aware of. If you are a victim, if you hear about this today, or if you know somebody who's a victim, we have all of the steps you need to take on our website. We have all the things you need to do, but this results in freezing your credit, putting alerts on your credit reports. A lot of people are looking at the services like LifeLock, because I even had something strange happen where there was something on my phone saying somebody tried to, like, I think even my social security number has been compromised here. You just don't know. And so there are steps that you need to take to make sure that you're protected and your identity is protected, because this is such a hassle. That's the other thing I'm hearing from people. It's such a hassle.
Well, we have a number of people chiming in on this, and it says, Marie says that her friend, she got checks mailed from Kentucky and his social, but his middle initial were wrong.
Right.
Brenda says, I got a 1099, but I never filed or received money. So Brenda Snyder Wise. Sherry Lynn says she's been the victim of unemployment fraud. And so, wow, this is really a big, this really impacting a lot of people. And I think what was scary about your story that I saw when you're like, hey, how do we know if somebody's done that, or where they're getting the information from? And,
right.
and they're like, I don't know.
A lot of this information, like I said, it's correct information. I have a friend who works in auditing, and she's wondering if it's somewhere in the federal level or in the government where that breach is coming from, just because of the information that they have is it's very sensitive. So we don't know where this breach is coming from, but the information that these hackers or criminals have, it's very key information to your personal identity, your financial information, et cetera. A lot of these people, a lot of the people I've heard from also never filed for unemployment before. So what could also be happening is these hackers are trying, and if there's already a file on you, they move on. But if there's no file on you and it hits, and they can create a file with some of this information that, where the name is a little bit off, but they have the right social security number and they have the right HR person, they can create that file. So if you have never filed for unemployment before, this is something you need to be aware of and constantly be checking, because it's running really rampant right now. It really is. Like, we're hearing from people every single day.
You are touching on something here. A number of comments coming in. Nicole, she says she got a letter and a pen. She never filed.
Right.
Hoffer says he got my fraudulent claim the other day, did my fraud report. Then Kathy says, happened to me, got a pen letter to my old address. I filed a fraud claim and froze my credit reports.
And the other big issue that people were telling me, especially on social, was that if this happened to them and they called the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services, which is what you're supposed to do, they are so overwhelmed right now that people are sitting on hold for hours trying to straighten this out. And one poor woman that was on my Facebook page was saying that her son passed away recently. Somebody's filing for unemployment under his name and benefits. Oh. So I know, how heartbreaking is this? So she's online trying to dispute it, but it shows that he's not valid. So she's been trying to call the state departments to try and get this straightened out, but sitting on hold just because this is happening to so many people. They are flooded with calls.
And Laura says that I'm disabled, never worked. They stole her identity. Wow. It's just, and then Brenda, she also says, my friend got a 1099 for $12,000.
Wow. So, I mean, all of this can be straightened out with the state departments. They give you the step 1, step 2, step 3. They have all the links. They sent them to me. I put them on the website. It's still such a hassle. This is a lot of paperwork people have to go through. It's a lot of phone calls they have to make. Then again, it's the steps to protect their identity and once again, freeze the credit and check the credit reports. And this is something that they'll have to do for a long time. And not just them, it's all of us. It's all of us have to do something because you don't know who has your information.
Wow. I mean, this took up the entire post show.
Yeah,
7:18 now. I don't know, Dave. I know you, Dave and Mo and Holly. We love seeing your handsome faces, Austin and Dave. Did you two have anything else that you wanted to add to this?
No, as if filing your taxes wasn't already a big pain in the butt as it is. I mean, adding this onto it, and especially the fact, I think the scariest part is like, people don't know where it's coming from. And, I think that's just the most stressful thing for people. So, no, I was glad to be a fly on the wall during this one. That was good, Mo.
Yeah. Well done.
I wish I was the bearer of better news, but it's just been like so many people I know and so many viewers. And it's just, the more I had to get it out. I know I don't have a solution to the problem. I can't tell you where the fraud's coming from. I wish I could get you through to the right departments, but I can't. But all I can do is tell you, and especially the HR managers out there, be vigilant.
30 seconds really quickly, Mo, because I know you guys got to go. But a lot of the things that you said were like, once you found out that this has happened, is there anything that we can personally do individually to kind of protect ourselves from this, or no, because we don't know where it's coming from?
That's the hard part. You don't know if your information is in this batch of stolen social security numbers and identity. I mean, I know I'm personally talking to my husband going, do we get LifeLock? Do we put some sort of plan in place, to make sure our personal identification doesn't get stolen?
Well, I will say one thing. I have gotten some weird voicemails and text messages, as Maureen had mentioned. And also, you talk about what you can do and what's out there. The scary part is what else is out there that we don't know. I mean, I have a feeling there's other things we'll be unlocking as the days and weeks go on.
All righty. Well, thank you all for joining us for this On The Go post show. We will continue to keep this discussion going because I see you all commenting in the comment section. We appreciate your time. And Mo's story is on WKYC.com so you can check that out and share. Mo and Dave and Holly will see you during the Today Show. The rest of us will see you tomorrow morning on Go.